Hello everyone, this is Atmanityananda and his online spiritual academy, which I call, as I told you many times, Advaita Atma Yoga Academy. I'm happy today to announce the physical appearance of these two books I have written and that already have been published in Amazon Kindle electronic form, of Kindle form. Now they have been born in physical form. Liberation with the power of mantra, die to live. I will speak about these two books and I'm very happy to speak about them because this is my life. And also I'm happy to share with you this experience with you and help you to transform your lives as well. And also, I would like to say that I'm preparing a third book, bigger, more comprehensive than these two, and which includes most of the practices I have applied during this 33 years inner journey. And I continue to practice some of them. So, what is about these two books? Die to Live. This book, I have written this book for two purposes. I give in this book the very essence of the practice of the repetition of mantra and how we can use mantra and prayer to dissolve, to eliminate the egoistic tendencies in our psyche. Moment to moment, moment by moment, we can live consciously and eliminate all egoistic tendencies through the power of mantra and the prayer. And I also give to some degree, we could say, some ideas, knowledge in reality, how we can work with the dissolution of the egoistic tendencies in our home, at home. But I do not explain this practice as I explain the practice, how to use mantra and prayer to eliminate, to free ourselves, in reality, to free our mind and heart from egoistic tendencies and enjoy the peace and plenitude and freedom that shines in our center of our existence. And also I have, so no matter, regardless of the path you may follow, religious or non-religious, Christian path, a Christianic path, Hinduism, Buddhism, it doesn't matter. You can use this knowledge because this is a knowledge that transcends, we could say, religions and paths. Of course, in this book, I refer mostly to the mantra. I mention different mantras like Om Namah Shivaya, like Hare Krishna, like Om Namo Narayanaya, mantras of Shakti, of Mahashakti, the cosmic energy, power, creative power, like Om Sri Durgaya Namaha, Om Ain Hrim Klim Chamudaya Vichaya Namaha, that we can use to eliminate the egoistic tendencies and also to maintain and develop self-awareness. However, you can use any mantra you like. There is no restriction. So, personally, I use as main mantra Om Namah Shivaya for purification, for maintaining self-awareness. That means connection with my inner self or the silent space of consciousness within, to purify mind and heart, remain concentrated in the present moment, and maintain a distance from the mental emotional reactions and sensory impressions. I use the mantra Om Namah Shivaya most of the time, but I use also other mantras for the same purpose. But when we come to the elimination of the egoistic tendencies, I use Om Namah Shivaya, but I use also other mantras, like Om, only the Om mantra, Om Sri Durgaya Namaha, Om Hrim Sri Hiryakandesvarya Namaha, Om Hrim Sri Durgaya Namaha, Om Aim Hrim Krim Durgaya Namaha. Aim Hrim Krim Srim are Bijas mantras, seed mantras. They are very powerful. Or I use seed mantras with Om Namah Shivaya. I mean, Om Hring Namah Shivaya, Om Hring Namah Shivaya. I use also the name of Jesus Christ. Om Sri Jesus Christ Namaha, Om Sri Jesus Christ Namaha. And I do this intuitively. Through practice, I have found that sometimes it's better to use only Om, or sometimes the name of Jesus Christ. But this is something you can find for yourselves through the practice. It's not something also to, how to say that this the only way to do this is my way. No, you can use any way in mantra and the way you can find for yourselves through practice. So this is a very special book, and so we can enrich your practice enormously with this small book. Sorry, because timer is, it tells me that I have to take care of the food I prepare. And so this book, Die to Live, it is directly refers to the dissolution of the egoic tendencies. What does it mean, die to live? Because we live, our mind is conditioned, and so we live in a state of unconsciousness, identified with all mental, emotional programming, reactions, etc. And this is not real life, not real true living. Only when we connect consciously with our essential nature or divine nature, and only when our mind, it is in a state of sattva, which is called in a state of calmness and transparency and steady luminous, then we can live fully life as it unfolds moment by moment. There is no other way to live fully life, to experience happiness and plenitude, than to liberate our mind and heart from egoic tendencies, passions, weaknesses, defects, etc. And this is very useful for all those sincere seekers of truth. It will reach your, it's very simple, practical and simple. So I suggest you to buy this book for your own benefit, but also to help my academy. This is a small book. That's why I decided to, and of course, because it is small, but also to make it easy for anyone that wants to help my academy to buy this book. You can buy this book as an Amazon Kindle version, €2 or dollars, depending where you buy the book. Practically €3 or $3, more or less. You can buy from Amazon. Physical form, I think it costs €7.99 or something like this. I'm not, or €6. I think €6.99 cents, or $7, because there is a difference. So more or less €7. I take the royalties are very little, so because it has cost of printing, and Amazon also has to have some revenue. So buying this book, in reality, you will enrich your practice enormously. It's very, I say it one more time, it's very simple, very practical, and very effective at the same time. This is my life, what I practice moment to moment. Of course, I'm do other things that you can find in the second book, Liberation with the Power of Mantra, and also in the third book that I'm preparing now. And so by buying this book in Kindle form, on Kindle form or physical form, you help me, Atma Nityananda, and my academy to continue give my experience, knowledge, and teaching to as many as possible and help humanity to human beings, because humanity, I think it's quite difficult, but human beings to change their lives and find harmony, peace, fullness, plenitude, and true happiness, and create a more harmonious world, although now it seems to be very difficult as well. However, we must do our best to prepare ourselves for a new era. This era will come after us, at least as my beloved teacher, Hakam Babaji, and other teachers have said already, that this humanity will be destroyed by nuclear atomic bomb war and physical disasters. So, and after this destruction, a new era, a new humanity will arise. And in order this humanity to be a more conscious and more harmonious humanity, we have to prepare ourselves for this. And the only way it is what we call spiritual practice and life, living a spiritual way of living, and practice constantly, sincerely, moment by moment, and at home as well. So this book, it is for you, to help you to liberate your mind and heart from all tendencies, and help Atma Nityananda and his academy to continue and, of course, develop, to have to develop his academy to help more and more people as possible. So you can find it in Amazon, in all countries that Amazon sells books, as a Kindle book, more or less €3, €2.99. And in physical form, you can buy this book, €6.99, or more or less €7. I will read where are they? Contents. Where are the contents? And I'll make some change now. I will make a small change in this book. So, after the gratitude, special homage to my beloved Hakam Babaji, invitation for transformation and support my academy, prayers for world peace, my teaching, Advaita Atma Yoga. It's very interesting also to know this. It can help you also in your practice, to give you different perspective possibly for your practice. And then now I have added 2 more themes, subjects. They are not here, but they will be I will publish them soon. I will change the PDF and I will add to these 2 subjects. So, purpose of life and the pursuit of happiness. Self-awareness, how to develop, what is self-awareness, how to develop self-awareness, repetition of mantras, and God's names, which in reality, God's names, we repeat them through a mantra. The repetition of name of God and karma yoga, which is also another way of spiritual transformation and purification of mind and heart. Self-observation and elimination of ego. We have to observe, to live moment by moment consciously and observe ourselves. Ourselves, I mean the apparent illusory self, in order to notice, recognize all egoistic tendencies, reactions, programming, and understand them, stop identifying with them, and dissolve them with using the power of mantra and prayer. Self-observation and elimination of the ego means the egoic tendencies. The elimination of the ego through prayer and mantra, I explain very nicely and in a clear way how we can use the prayer and the mantra for the dissolution of the egoic tendencies. Dissolution means that we diminish, that we weaken the energy of the ego. We cannot dissolve the egoic tendencies at once by saying once the prayer or by repeating sometimes the mantra. We just eliminate part of the energy. For example, if anger manifests in me, then I become more conscious of the inner silence and of the anger energy, and I use the mantra and the prayer to eliminate part of its energy and make it subside. Of course, this is not always possible. Then we use other ways to address anger and get rid of the anger energy. Then the ultimate subject is stay steady in your practice. It's the most important thing to remain to steady in our practice, because without practice we cannot achieve nothing, anything, nothing, anything, nothing. There is no other way. Theories are necessary, knowledge is necessary, but we must put in practice this knowledge. There is no other way. So I call you, I invite you to practice this, not to practice this book, not only to have some more knowledge in your head. It's very practical, small. It's about 80 pages, more or less. 80, the new one will be 84 pages, something like this. And I'll read you the last page, what I say. The first, we are the one non-dual consciousness, eternal existence, pure consciousness, infinite bliss. This is our true nature. And if we want to live in freedom, peace, and love and plenitude, we must realize this and free our mind and heart from all egoistic tendencies, passions, etc. And the end, at the end of the book, with Om Namah Shivaya. This symbol is Om, and it's Om Namah as Babaji have written this. My beloved Babaji, I'm so grateful that I met Babaji in my life, that Babaji came in my life. Thank you, Bole Baba. It is not the method or the teaching, though necessary, that brings the realization of truth and freedom, but our deep, unquenchable thirst for freedom and truth, the unshakable belief that we can make it, and our unwavering will to do everything we can to make it happen. It is ourselves, the power. Knowledge is necessary. It is also power. Knowledge is power. But we are the most important factor of our transformation and awakening, because we are consciousness in action. Every human being is consciousness in action. Everything we need, there is already in us. We have to unfold, to develop, to cultivate all these possibilities and capacities and powers that already exist in us. I invite you to participate in this universal, I mean world on earth, universal revolution of consciousness, and leave behind a life of unconsciousness. So you can help yourselves and help Atman Nityananda and his academy, because this academy can help other people to have progress in their inner journey and transformation of consciousness and mind and heart. The second book is Liberation with the Power of Mantra, which has a subtitle, Self-Awareness, Mantra, and Dissolution of the Ego. It is this, as I said, I have here in the small book, Die to Live, the essence of this book. And this book, it is also focused on self-awareness, because the most important thing in spiritual life and practice is to develop self-awareness, which, as I have already said many times, has two main meanings. And the principal one is to be aware of our true nature, the silent space of consciousness. And the second one is to be aware of all psychological structures and formations, mental, emotional patterns, habits, tendencies, passions, so that to understand them and stop identifying ourselves with them and dissolve them, eliminate them from our psyche. I need 30 seconds just to see what I prepare to eat after these presentations. Thank you. Back with you. So I was speaking about the book Liberation with the Power Mantra that you can buy from Amazon. In this book, it costs more or less 13 euros, 12 euros 99 cents, 13 euros. You can buy it also in Kindle form. I do not remember. I have a very low price for Kindle. It's about, I don't remember. I think it is about 5 euros. Kindle form, 13 euros. Of course, physical form has its own beauty, would say. I like to have this book in physical form. Okay, you can read it also in Kindle form, but physical form has something different. I don't know. So in reality, because I have already published this book in Kindle form, but when I had this book yesterday, this book arrived, is the first copy of this book. I arrived in yesterday. So I was more happy to have this book in physical form. And of course, this book is about 200 pages. This is about 82, more or less. This is about 200 pages. And has more things. It's more comprehensive about the mantra, about other means or methods we can use together with the mantra, about self-awareness, self-observation. And also here I give some knowledge, important knowledge about the nature. I'm not sure, because yes, about the nature of the consciousness, our true nature, about the nature of ego and the egoic tendencies, because to work with the dissolution of the egoic tendencies, we need a map, we need some knowledge. And this knowledge we can find, of course, I do not present all knowledge about the ego, because every book is also limited, as all forms in this world are limited. And I could put everything I know about ego in this book, because this book also, it is focused in the dissolution of the egoic tendencies, the development of self-awareness, living consciously moment to moment. So it is not, I have put in the book all necessary knowledge about the nature of ego and tendencies, so that will be very helpful for you to work with the ego. Of course, normally, usually, most of us, we have knowledge about the tendencies from other sources, other books, videos, etc. But this is very comprehensive, although it's about 35 pages on the nature of ego. So it is enough knowledge. And in the book I will publish after this, which is the bigger one, the biggest one, I have more knowledge. And in reality, I think, to write another and one more, which will be focused on the nature of ego, desire, and the mind in general. Only knowledge. But I'm not sure because my energy, I have not so much energy to put in this. I don't know. If it will come naturally, I will do it. I have a very comprehensive and very broad knowledge about the nature of desire, ego. Difficult to find. Difficult to find. You can find, of course, knowledge about the ego, like in the books of Sivananda, for example, and other sources. But I have written all those books that are they have very deep and clear knowledge about the nature of the ego. Modern teachings, traditional teachings, great teachers, modern teachers. So, and personally, because I have focused a lot in the nature of the ego and in the work with the dissolution of the ego. So I have a very great knowledge about the ego, but I'm not sure that I can do this. Although I want to do it, because I think this knowledge does not belong only to me. It belongs to all humanity, to all beings, but I'm not sure that I have the energy to do it. Let's see. Anyway, in this book and the next one, you can find also a lot of knowledge, important knowledge about the nature of the ego in my website, Atmanityananda, small letters, atmanityananda.org. You can find in my posts a great variety of posts related to the ego. Of course, if I will write the book, it will be more all this knowledge in a organized and anyway, you can find this knowledge. And remember, the ego is related to egoic tendencies and also negative emotions, which are also tendencies. And it is related to passions and desires. Lust, in the form of lust, gluttony, any form of desire. So, I speak, I write, I explain what is the ego, what is the self, what is the ego, and then the third unity is about self-awareness. This book has unity. I say unities, I don't say parts. I prefer also, this is also part of the what I want to share. I say unities, not chapters, unities. And then subjects. Self-awareness, or self-observation, because through self-awareness and self-observation, we can achieve, we could say, the two most important objectives of spiritual life and practice. Self-awareness, as I said, it is related to our true self and the awareness of all psychological stuff. So in order to observe all tendencies and patterns, passions, etc., consciously, we have to connect with the inner silence. And this is also self-awareness and the sense I am, the so famous sense I am, which is not what we really are. It is only, we could say, a representative of what we really are in the mind. It's not correct what I say. It's not in the mind, but anyway, the mixture, we could say, of consciousness, which is our true nature, with the mind creates this sense I am, or I exist. The sattva portion, the sattva aspect of mind, together with consciousness, is the cause to sense, to experience this sense, I exist. But because of ignorance, we identify this with the physical form. So we think that we exist, the existence is related to the physical form and the mind as well. While in reality, existence is the very nature of our consciousness, our divine essence. So, how to develop self-awareness, self-observation, and because of through self-observation, we can become to notice, and know what is really happening in our psyche, mind, heart, mental, emotional levels, intellectual level. Then the fourth unity of life, unity with the self, yoga, unity. It is about the repetition of mantra and God's name, which is in reality more or less the same. Then repetition of mantra and karma yoga. And so I speak about the repetition of mantra, explain various topics related to repetition of mantra. I'm not sure, but I think also about meditation, but I do not analyze this subject so much about how we can use the mantra for meditation. I have written another book in Greek language that I call The Art of Meditation. And in that book, I explain how we can use mantra for meditation, how to do mantra using, how we can meditate using a mantra. This is a book it possibly can be translated in English, but I'm not sure. As I said, I'm not sure because I have not so much energy to do this. Also, my English is not so level. My English is not so high, so I have great difficulties to make the translation from Greek to English. I use now AI translated machines. I say like DeepL to translate. It helps me to translate the book from Greek to English, but anyway, I must do a lot of work because I must be very precise. And then I have some topics related to the dissolution of the ego through prayer and the mantra as the small book. Which is this book? No, here. So this subject, dissolution of ego, it is also appears in this small book. But here in this book, I have much more things to learn and practice. Acceptance, I have included in this book a subject to explain acceptance because it's a very important factor in the dissolution of egoic tendencies. We must develop this state because to me it's a capacity, of course, but it's also a state of acceptance, which includes the development of self-awareness, and this also depends also on the purity of mind and heart. So acceptance can be developed by developing other capacities and virtues and abilities, and also by doing things to develop directly acceptance, and also by resistance, acceptance. Resistance is the opposite of acceptance, and resistance is an action, a reactive action of the lower ego. So by dissolving, through the dissolution of these egoic tendencies, resistance weakens. So what I will say only very few things. What is the main component of resistance? Anger. We become angry against what we don't like, we don't want, we don't desire to happen. Or dislike us, resentment, dislike, annoyance, irritation, anger are some of the forms of resistance. So by dissolving the anger energy in us, the ego has not so much power to react towards external reality or psychological reality. So we develop acceptance. By developing the detachment and conscious contact with the inner silence, we develop acceptance. Because the more we abide, dwell in the silence within, the less the ego has power to express itself freely and powerfully. So it cannot react so easily as before. That's why I said that acceptance is an ability and also a state that we can develop by developing and by doing various other things to say. So I hear in this book, because it is also for me a very important part of spiritual practice, inquire into a tendency and its dissolution. This is the practice we can do at home or any place we can be alone in solitude. While for 1 hour, I don't know, to focus on the inquiry, investigation, and understanding of egoic tendencies that we have observed, noticed, and observed during the day. We cannot free ourselves, our mind and heart in reality, from something that we are not aware. We have first to see this, to observe this very thing, tendency in us. But we need also to understand, to know this tendency or pattern better and better, understand it, and stop identifying with this. And for this, we need to do something. Of course, it is of great importance, moment-to-moment self-awareness and self-observation without identifying with the tendencies, and observe them objectively and in a state of acceptance without judgment, judging, etc. And the second thing we can do is to do this auto-analysis, investigation, self-inquiry, introspection at home, so that to deepen in the knowledge, awareness, and understanding of this tendency we want to liberate our mind and heart. So I dedicate in this book about 15 pages to explain this practice. You can find also parts of this practice in my website at meridiananda.org. We can put inquiry of tendencies, dissolution of egoic tendencies. Then you can find there some interesting posts about this practice and the dissolution of egoic tendencies. However, here I explain this in a very detailed, we could say, way, and I give all necessary information to do it. And I will repeat again that you have to practice moment to moment, because if you are not in a state of awareness and self-observation, self-awareness, self-observation during the day, and if you are not conscious of what has happened in you, how we can do this inquiry in your home? We need some, some information, knowledge about the nature of tendency, and this is possible only direct self-observation moment to moment. Of course, then at home we can recall the event and then recall the reaction, the thoughts, and most of all the emotional reactions related to this event, and then we can observe again these reactions and investigate them. Some say it's not necessary. No, I don't agree with this. And also a great teacher, also in Gnostic movement, I passed 10 years practicing there. It was a very important part of the sadhana, of the practice. And also Swami Sivananda, one of the greatest spiritual beings and teachers of India, says this: self-analysis, introspection, investigation of tendencies is important to dissolve the egoic tendencies. So, and this method I give here is one of the best, not to say the best one, to inquire our the programming of mind, one of the best in the world today. Okay, I'm an unknown teacher, but this doesn't change the reality. You know? So you can work with the dissolution of egoic tendencies moment to moment, moment by moment, and also at home using this method and a more comprehensive prayer. During the day, we use every moment a tendency arises in us, we use a short form of prayer, like, "Oh, Divine Mother, I beg you, dissolve this anger energy and fill my mind and heart with peace, love, and light. I'm peace, love, and light. Fill my heart with peace, love, and light, and dissolve this anger energy. Liberate my mind and heart from anger energy. Om peace, love, and light. Om peace, love, and light. I'm peace, love, and light. Peace, love, and light permeate and transform my mind and heart in peace, love, and light." It's a way. I don't say this exactly in book, but because I'm so used to say this, it comes naturally and can say it in a different way. It doesn't matter. I say it with heart and concentration and connection with the silence, and it works. You can trust me. I don't want to cheat you. Trust me. This is my life. And I guarantee that I have dissolved the greater past of all these tendencies. I admit that they are not totally dead. I hope will happen soon with the grace of Lord, of the God consciousness, of the inner consciousness, of course. We do our best, but without the power, divine power, we cannot do, we are powerless. But strangely, this power, we are us. Life is a very strange phenomenon. So I have a very more comprehensive prayer here after doing the investigation and achieving a deeper understanding and greater disidentification and some realizations, like in the form, for example, there are some objectives. Doing this investigation, we have some objectives, I refer here, to become as much aware as possible of the nature of the psychological tendencies, to realize that we are trapped in them, to realize that they do not benefit us but rather harm us, to realize that they do not help us to solve any situation, to realize that they are not the reality. I don't read everything. To realize that prevent us from living in peace, love, and freedom, and realize that we are not them. We are not the selfish tendency, but the witness consciousness. Means ceasing identifying ourselves, to cease identifying ourselves with them, to see them as something intrusive in our psyche. Then it becomes easier to want and apply the prayers and dissolve this selfish or egoistic energy. And then we have this prayer, which is more complete than the one we use moment by moment throughout the day. And he's about two pages. This is the prayer. And we begin, for example, Divine Mother of the universe, or if you are devotees of Jesus Christ, or God, supreme light of love and power and healing, I beg you with all my heart to fill me with your divine light, love and healing energy, and free or purify or cleanse, as you like, my mind and heart from anger energy, or whatever may be, and all elements related to anger. What can be lust, jealousy, gluttony, fear, whatever. And then we do, there are more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts, and we refer more specifically to the Divine Mother or Jesus Christ or God or divine consciousness or divine power, as you like. Doesn't does not make any change, any difference, because everyone feels this superpower, ultimate power in a different way. Doesn't matter. It works the same. So we say we ask Divine Mother to cleanse very specifically mind and heart. Then our vital energy. And then I don't say the prayer. And then the subconscious mind, all levels of subconscious mind. And then we ask about to purify all memories that can be of cells. And finally, all bodies. Yes. According to the Advaita Vedanta, there are 5 sheaths: physical sheath, energetic sheath, emotional, mental, intellectual, causal. Okay, we can ask about the all any kind of energy of anger. It is stored or in these bodies to be eliminated. And also we ask all memories, mental memories, and blockages, energy blocks of anger to be cleansed and released from this anger energy. So you can find this. And you can, of course, use the prayer. You can change the words. It's not that you have to do this prayer in the very same way I present the prayer here. It's just, how to say, an example. This is what I have used. We can use a different way. Doesn't matter. And what is the Unity 5, which is the last one, I write, I present the nights of spiritual practice about satsang and stay firm in your practice. This is the last also subject about in this book, Die to Live. Because to remain firm, determined in the practice is the most important thing. Without practice, forget it. There is no change. There is no realization. Okay, sometimes the grace of God can also give us some experience of even awakening. It has happened in very, 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 very few cases. Only I know this happened to Ramana Maharshi and Tolle, but we don't know their past because it's not so easy to say, to understand why this happened. So normally we need to do something. So we have to practice, and then the grace of God comes to us in any form. So stay firm in practice, and also satsang. Satsang is one of the most potent means for self-transformation and awakening of consciousness. I explain this in this book. And also I speak about the nights of spiritual practice, because I have found for myself, in myself, and others as well, that there are periods where I call nights of spiritual practice, that we lose this enthusiasm, we lose inspiration, aspiration, we have doubts about our practice, ourselves, if we are capable to succeed in this process, etc., etc. There is no, how to say, will to continue your practice. So in these periods of spiritual life, we can live spirituality very easily if we don't do something about this. Or we can remain, but we can continue as spirituality as a hobby, to practice a little, and then we live our external superficial life and little bit practice, but this is not spirituality. And what I have found is that especially in these very difficult periods, I call nights of spiritual practice and life, we can easily abandon the practice, quit the practice and spiritual living. And this is the worst thing we can do to ourselves, to abandon spiritual life and practice. It is better to do little, doesn't matter. Little, we can have some progress or to enjoy some changes. And at the same time, we maintain, we can say, how we call see this word? I'm not sure now in English. Okay, we have something, we maintain something that can be this small light, we could say, or this small fire can become a great fire. By maintaining this small fire of aspiration and practice, then it can become again a great fire. But when we abandon spiritual life and practice and we immerse ourselves in the external living, and we are again, how to say, in the lower vibrational frequencies of external life, then it becomes difficult to restart spiritual life in practice. It's not impossible, of course, I don't say this, but it becomes more difficult. It is better to maintain some connection with practice, and then when the time will come, we can again make more practice. But here in this book, I don't refer to this. I refer to the ones that want to continue their practice with determination and consistency. So I give some ideas and methods how we can pass through these nights of spiritual life more easily, to say it like this, or to make shorter these periods of nights of spiritual practice. I give some important ideas that I have practiced for myself because I have passed also me from these nights of spiritual practice. So that's why I want to share with you this knowledge. So this is the book, Liberation or with the Power of Mantra, and also by buying this book, you can help yourselves, no matter, regardless of the path you follow or the sadhana you follow. It is very useful because all this knowledge is a practical knowledge. Of course, there is theory, but this theory will help you to practice. It's not theory for the theory. So you can help yourselves. This is the best present you can give to yourselves or to others as well. And you can help yourselves in your spiritual transformation and liberation, and also help my academy also with this book. So to finish here this presentation, these books has taken a physical form. They are published also in Amazon Kindle form, electronic form, ebooks. Die to Live, Liberation with the Power of Mantra. Die to Live is related, it's very focused to how to use prayer and mantras for the dissolution of egoic tendencies moment by moment. And this book, it is more comprehensive and gives also other important knowledge about self-awareness, about the nature of the ego, about about consciousness, about practice, about karma yoga, etc., acceptance, self-observation, and also very important practice to investigate and inquire the tendencies at home and use a larger prayer for dissolving more energy from the egoic tendencies, from the egoic tendency you have investigated. So with these two books, you can help yourself first of all, help others. If you can make this a present for others, and help the academy to continue, my academy and me personally to continue my project, and help as much as possible human beings on planet Earth to transform their lives and realize their true nature and become beings of peace, love, and light. I wish you peace, love, and light. Thank you for being with me all this time. And namaste. The light of consciousness shines always in our heart, and I wish you to realize this light fully and experience peace, freedom, plenitude, and bliss. And as I do also in Greek, because most of the presentations, videos, and podcasts I do are in Greek language, as I say always to my Greek brothers, the only moment that exists is it is now. Now we can experience the peace of the consciousness, and now we can do our best to experience the peace, plenitude of consciousness, and liberate our mind and heart, or manage or address what is happening in our psyche moment by moment, so that to remain in conscious contact with the peace and plenitude and freedom and beauty of life. This is the most important moment of our life, this very moment. Namaste. Thank you for being with me.